In machine learning and deep learning systems, and those are fields that are subsets of artificial intelligence, sometimes the algorithms operate in ways that even the developers of the algorithms don't know how they operate, or what kind of factors they're weighting or how they're weighting in terms of making decisions of some kind of automated process. And an example that I will use is having a bank offer loans to customers, and a customer applies for a loan and is rejected for a loan. What factors did the bank use to reject that customer? How were those factors weighted? The designers of an algorithm that just ingest a large amount of data to understand who are creditworthy customers and who are not creditworthy customers. And here's a system that makes decisions between the two categories and ends up being applied to a customer and rejects that particular customer. The developer might not be even able to say exactly how this customer was rejected or why this customer was rejected. The problem with that is, under laws like GDPR, there is an obligation for the company that uses an automated data processing system using personal data to explain to the data subject how it came to the result that it did after that automated data processing occurred. So the individual data subject has an individual right to ask the company, why did this decision occur? Tell me, explain to me how the automated decision processing worked and how it came to this decision. And then the company has to explain how the decision came about. In an artificial intelligence system, it may not be possible for that company to explain it, and therefore it might not be in compliance with GDPR. There's also something called the right of human intervention under GDPR, in which a data subject could say, take a look at that result that the machine just gave. Now I want a human being to look at it in a new light, and let's talk about that. Once you have this explanation, I want you to take a second look and see if there was a mistake that was being made. And maybe the data subject explains why the data subject thinks a mistake was made. So this right of human intervention, coupled with the right of explainability, puts a legal obligation on the business to be able to understand what happened and then to make a reasoned judgment after that of whether a mistake was made. That requires an understanding of how the result came about. And if the company's not able to do that, that company will not be able to comply with those requirements of GDPR. In the United States, we don't have a similar concept in law, in any specific law today. But I am wondering whether in the future people will use more general laws, like the laws against unfair and deceptive trade practices, to say that any AI system that's using personal information that's not explainable is somehow doing something that is an unfair or deceptive trade practice. I'm thinking that that is the way that explainability will become a legal risk for companies in the United States.